Well, that little man walked up and down to find an eating place in town. He read the menu through and through to see what 15 cents could do. One meatball, one meatball, where he could afford but one meatball. Hi friends, that's an old song called One Meatball, made popular by Josh White and even the Andrews Sisters back in the 40s. And it's got a long history of who wrote it and things like this, which you can look that up. But the song itself is a great song, a great folk tune. I used to play it a lot back in my early days of playing, and is basically built on 4 chords, and then what that does is it leaves a lot of open opportunities for you to do some things. Okay? Now I played it in D minor, and you probably recognize the D minor chord, and then we go to the D7 chord, D minor 7 chord, okay, and then we come up here to a condensed version of the B flat, okay, so we're putting this finger across the 4 strings, and then using the 3rd finger or the 2nd finger, 3rd finger here to get that B flat 7, okay, and then we just slide that form down to get the A7. So again, it's D minor 7, B flat 7, A7, okay. Now you'll see this on YouTube, and some other people actually talk about it and teach it, and originally it was actually in A minor, which is basically doing the same kind of thing with an A minor and then a G bass, okay, and then to an F7, okay. Now some people will play the F7 with the thumb over the top. I personally prefer to use my finger for that, okay, and then the E7. So here we've got A minor, G, F7, E7. Basically the same idea. It is interesting that the D minor 7, B flat 7, A7, little slightly different harmony than the A minor. Of course, when you really look at this A minor with the G bass, really it is an A minor 7, right? The A minor 7, just basically the piece of the C chord, right, without this finger. So that's an A minor 7, as you would have the D minor 7, but you've got that G bass. So you're getting a little bit more bassy sound on the guitar with this version. Well, that little man walked up and down. Okay, so you're getting that. A little bit more bass play in there, which is nice. Of course, with the D minor, as I played it at the beginning, I didn't really put any bass in there, really, other than just that D 4th string bass, which is a higher pitch. You know, not really hearing bass there. If you're playing along with a bass player, this might be a lot nicer to play up here, because you're getting that treble quality of the guitar with a good bass player. But of course, with the D minor, you could play the bass notes, right? You could do the D minor. So there's your D bass from the open D. And then when you go to the D minor 7, you could take that 3rd finger and go to the C. Okay, and then when you go to the B flat, instead of just playing the thin B flat up there, you could go and bar across the whole 1st fret to get that B flat right there on the 5th string, right? And you could take the little finger and go across the first 2 strings on the 3rd fret, and then go down to the A7, which would give you the open A bass. So you could do something like this, which also sounds pretty good, right? When I learned it way back, I I just didn't do much with the bass, and all habits are hard to break. Of course, in the heat of a actual performance, I honestly don't know what I would do. I mean, I could be doing all kinds of things with this, who knows. Now, the opening is kind of iconic for its period, and basically what he does in the opening, this is the Josh White recording, which definitely you should look this up. When I first heard Josh White on a record back in the 70s, and again, I'm 30 years later, right? But when I heard him on that record in the 70s, in amongst all of these other folk records that my teacher had thrown at me, basically, listen to this, listen to this, listen to this. So we had Peter, Paul, and Mary, we had Dave Van Ronk, we had Kingston Trio, a lot of different groups from the 60s, that folk guitar era that really opened up the whole popularity of the guitar. And when I heard that Josh White album and I heard this song, One Meatball, there was just something about him singing that, the quality of his voice, the simplicity of the guitar, that it just really hit me. And I guess to this day, when I sing, there's a little bit of homage to Josh White, who was really a great performer back in the 40s. Should obviously get way more attention than he ever got. So anyways, the question here is, do we want to play this in D minor, or do we want to play it in A minor? And I guess it's a function of a couple of things. Which one's more comfortable for you? Do you like hearing treble? Do you like hearing bass? And where does your voice sit? Now, a lot of people, when you hear it in A minor, what you'll see is you'll have the capo, and they'll put the capo up on the 3rd fret or the 4th fret and play it in A minor. Okay? Personally, I'm not crazy about using the capo, mainly because I find other ways to play it, and on any song, really. And the other thing is, if you do use a capo, be very careful about leaving the capo on your guitar, because that capo will tend to make the strings dig into your frets. And when you get divots in your frets, that can be an issue. And an issue you really don't want to deal with unless you obviously have to. So my basic point here is, if you're going to use a capo, take it off when you're done. Don't leave it on. Now, why did people use capos? Well, some obvious common sense reasons, right? If you put a capo on a folk guitar, what you'll immediately notice is that the action, which is the strings to the frets, it goes down, right? Because when you're putting the fret, when you're closing up the fret here, you're going to bring the strings down. Closing the frets, bringing the strings down, actions closer, makes playability much easier for the folk singer. Okay, so that was an obvious reason why you're going to see that capo on the first, second fret quite a bit. And you say, well, it's half step, one step, not much difference for singing it, right? But the feel of the guitar, having those strings to be a lot closer, is just a lot more pleasurable for the player. The obvious other reasons are changing the key for voice purposes, and just for basic, how do I play this? Maybe you've got a song in B flat minor, right? And you say, B flat minor, how do I do that with open chords? Well, just put the capo on, and you can alleviate those problems by changing the key into some simpler chord forms. Anyways, let's get back to the song. So we start this off with the little finger or the 3rd finger on the 4th string, and we do a bend, okay? So how do you do a bend? You take the finger, you play the note, and then you kind of turn your finger, turn your wrist with the finger, and you bring the string up. Okay? So most of that is happening by turning the wrist up. And of course, in the actual activity of playing, you've got motion with your fingers. Your fingers are in motion, and when your fingers are in motion, that becomes even easier to do than just doing it from a dead still, right? So, okay, so we go bend on the 4th, and then to the 1st fret, and then to the 2nd string, 3rd fret, okay, F, D. So we got the G sharp, bend it up, bending it up to an A, right? To the F, to the D, and then back to the G sharp, to the G. So, and you can do that with a 4-3 or a 3 down, slide down. I mean, basically you can experiment with that however you want to do it, but basically I like to end it with the 3, because then you can just close up on the A7, and the A7 is the dominant, or the 5 chord, right, which leads you back into the D minor. Okay, so that's basically it. Another little run you could throw in there, starting with the F to the D to the C to the A, right? So you're basically outlining the D minor 7 chord, the D, F, the D, the C, the A. Those are all the notes in the D minor 7 chord. So what am I doing? And then when we come down there to the A, and then we go G sharp, A, C, which is basically an F, right? Which is the minor 3rd of the F, the D, the G sharp, the flat 3, to the A, to the C, first string, 2nd fret, C. So we're basically playing an F chord there, and then back to the D minor 7. Because if you think about it, if you write this out, right, the F chord, F-A-C, is basically the D minor 7, D-F-A-C, without the D. So you're playing all of these notes, which are all in the D minor 7, which is why the run works pretty well. Okay, so and you get that flat 3 in there off the F, or if you want to just pretend that you're still in D minor, you've got the flat 5 back to the 5 for the D minor. So however you want to look at it, you're getting a flat note in there, which is your bluesy note. So if you want to put a classy little finish on this, you can use that run like that and put something like that on there. So da 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 da. I guess down in the comments below you can say which one do you like and how do you like playing this better. Do you like it in the D minor, or do you like it in the original A minor? Kind of interesting. It's a great little song. It's got the classic 4 chords. Just play them for the whole piece, and you can look up the rest of the verses for this song if you're interested. It's really a great tune. Well, that little man walked up and down to find an eating place in town. He read the menu through and through to see what 15 cents could do. One meatball, one meatball. Well, he could afford but one meatball. He told the waiter near at hand the simple dinner he had planned. The waiter hollered down the hall, "You get no bread with one meatball." One meatball, one meatball, when you get no bread with one